146,000. The fair market is 290,000 based on quite a few sales. So up to 2020 it was 170,000, then it shot up 264, 336 is the high sale. Last year we had a 288 sale. Bidding's at 146. That's what it was at, I think, a minute ago. Let's see what happened. Hi and welcome to Grails to Astonish. This is going to be the ComicLink Fall Featured Auction closings. So this will be everything after Amazing Spider-Man. Amazing Spider-Man is its own thing. It takes hours. So I'm doing Avengers to Daredevil, probably. Here we go. I'm almost caught up because issue 4 of Avengers is selling right now. But I just got to catch up with this Archie number 2 at 8.0, sold for 15,600. And then we got these Avengers copies that I looked at, and I brought out my copy of Avengers and talked about it. I do recall the fair market on 8.0 is 16,000, but let's just look it up to confirm. Yep, 16,500 is the fair market, and it sold for 11,319. I believe I said in the previews that it was a great buy at 16,000. I'm going to say this is a fantastic buy at 11,319. I will also say that it doesn't look like an 8.0 to me because these spine ticks jump out at me. They're very, very clear. And when a book has this many spine ticks, as I understand grading, it should not be an 8.0. Is this really an 8.0? Am I being too picky? Look at this corner here. Look at this corner. I got this corner. This corner. Whatever this is here. And then a whole lot. This corner, really all 4 corners, and then a ton of spine ticks. This is one of the most generous 8.0s I can think of having ever seen. So that tempers my enthusiasm and makes the $11,319 sale price more understandable. This shouldn't, I don't think, be an 8.0, maybe a 7.0. Then we got this 4.0, which looks pretty accurately graded. It was bidding at 2,750 with a fair market at 3,100. I happen to have sold a 4.0 earlier this year on ComicLink, come to think of it. I think it was a little higher than this. And this is honestly a better looking copy than the one I sold. At least the reds are much better. CGC doesn't grade on how bright the reds are really at all, as far as I can tell. Bright reds are super important, in my opinion, for the eye appeal of books. And this one has it. Despite the blemishes and the creases on the spine, it's a nice looking copy. There's nothing, where your eye is drawn, it looks great. You can see the Hulk, Iron Man, and Thor very clearly. Man, whoever got this for $27.50, not that far below book, but you got a great book for a great price. Avengers number 2 at 9.2. Bidding at 3,175 with a fair market at 2,900. So already above fair market. White pages, that would be why. Sold for 3,175. All right, issue 4 at 8.0. I have an Avengers 4 at 8.0 that I bought and I haven't picked it up yet. Is this going to sell for more than I paid? Let's see. Fair market on this is 4,400. Oh God, no. This is so far below that. I'm afraid to click update and see what this sold for. $33.50. Ugh, that's heartbreaking. I've said it 100 times. Easily in the top 5 Kirby covers. What Kirby cover is better? Fantastic Four number 1? Iconic. Better? I don't know. Fantastic Four 48? The Captain America one. Okay, Captain America Comics number 1. Avengers 4. FF1. I like FF12 a lot. I mean, there's 1,000 Kirby covers, but what Kirby covers are better than Avengers 4? Not many. This should be worth more. Regardless of bringing Captain America back into the Silver Age after a 9-year hiatus, regardless of that whole thing, which is important, just the composition, the energy, how dynamic these poses are. To me, it is the Silver Age wrapped up into one beautiful cover that just pops. I sound like I'm just whining because I own this book and I want to see it valued highly. I'm trying to couch my sadness in some actual objective reasoning here. Great covers matter. Keys matter. Important events happening in the books matter. But these things are all in cases. We put them on the wall. We admire them. We like looking at them. This is a great book to look at. Poor King. Poor King. 9.2 off-white to white. $24.55. $3,000 fair market. Not a surprise here. 20% short. $24.55 is the closing price. The only other key is Avengers 57, where they bring Vision in. People really like this cover. It's a Buscema cover. It doesn't strike me as a great cover. $3,322, $7,000 fair market, closing at $4,301. That's a big dive. It seems like folks agree with me that the spike in this book's value has not held. They are falling hard. I don't know why this went up and why it went down. I mean, there's the WandaVision series. He debuted in 2015 in Age of Ultron, and we haven't seen him since WandaVision, which was 2021. So why did this book have a spike? And why is it now having a dip? Who knows? Then we got Batman 1. Ooh, I'm finally caught up. What perfect timing. I am finally caught up to the live auction closings. In 1 minute, we have the biggest book in this auction, the whole 3-day auction. Last time it was Captain America Comics #1, which sold for $240,000, $250,000. This time it's Batman #1. I got nothing bad to say. Oh, I have one bad thing to say about this book. One big ding is it has slightly brittle pages. Now, brittle pages, that's different from white, off-white, cream, tan, all of that. Brittle, as I understand it, means that there is something eating away at the pages that cannot be undone. That means that this book has a limited lifespan before it crumbles into dust. Now, these books haven't been around long enough for that, the timeline on that to be realized. It's maybe a 100, 200 year timeline, but once the pages are brittle, the acidification or something like that, something is eating away the pages. As the buyer of Batman #1 at the last auction said to me in the comments, and I totally agree with this, he's like, I'm never gonna get another chance to own a Batman #1. I don't care if it turns to dust, I'm turning to dust too. I just wanna have one. Good for him. That is absolutely a great attitude to have. And I'm so happy that he's the guy who got it. He got a Batman 1 with no cover in 0.5 for $17,000. This one very much has a cover, is a gorgeous cover. So it's going for a lot more, but it has the slightly brittle pages, which the coverless one had, I think, brittle pages as well. $146,000. The fair market is $290,000 based on quite a few sales. So up to 2020 it was 170,000, then it shot up 264, 336 is the high sale. Last year we had a 288 sale. The 336 was on Golden, the 288 was on Heritage. Here we are on ComicLink, bidding's at 146. That's what it was at, I think, a minute ago. Let's see what happened. 185. Shot up 39,000 in the last minute. That is got to be disappointing. The last time it sold for less than that was 5 years ago. Great news for the buyer. They just got a beautiful looking copy for way below fair market value. And I'm going to chalk that up to the brittle pages. For sure, it's the brittle pages. Enthusiasm, I don't think, has waned for this book. As we know from the Superman 1 sale a week or two ago, there is money to buy these books. I made an argument in the preview that this Batman 1 should be valued higher than Superman 1. There are more copies of Batman 1 than there are of Superman 1, but Batman 1 has the first Joker and the first Catwoman. Superman 1 is a book of reprints. There's nothing new at all in that Superman 1 other than an iconic cover. My hope and speculation that the Batman 1 would one day surpass Superman 1 in value does not seem to be coming to pass based on this sale. 9.0 of Superman 1 sells for $9 million, and a 4.0 of Batman 1 sells for about 1/50th as much money. There's so much irrational pricing in the comic book collector market. I kind of think that's what's fun about it. With sports, you know, you'll sometimes have upsets, you'll have outrageous outcomes, games that no one would have predicted this team would have beaten that team. And that's why we watch sports. If every game outcome was the outcome it should be, it would be really boring. The fun of this hobby, to me, part of it is that people sometimes pay crazy amounts of money for books they shouldn't, and sometimes get screaming deals. That's the fun of watching these auctions to me. This is the other book that I was super, super excited about. Say my big three for tonight were the Amazing Fantasy 15s, the Batman 1, and this Batman 11. This is the Promise Collection in 6.5. Without the pedigree, a 6.5 of issue 11 is valued at $12,500. I think I predicted this would sell around $15,000 because it's a pedigree and it is that storied pedigree of the Promise Collection. But it is also creamed off-white pages, and somebody in the comments who's familiar with the Promise Collection, which I most definitely am not, said that all the Promise Collection books are graded way higher than they should be because of that story. A soldier went off to war and passed his collection to his brother and had him promise to keep them safe and in good condition, hence the name Promise Collection. I think that tugs at a lot of heartstrings and perhaps tugged at the CGC graders' heartstrings. I don't know. I haven't looked at these books. I haven't looked inside these books. The assertion is that they're generously graded because of that pedigree. I don't know. Looks good to me. $12,905 is what it was going for. Already above book. I was thinking it was going to sell for $15,000 and it sold for $12,905. I was wrong, as I often am, but it did sell above fair market. This one with the Axis powers on the cover, which I talked about a little bit, issue 18, 7.0, 48.80. Fair market's $5,250, and it sold for $5,617. Above book, it's a World War II cover. It's early Batman. It's actually a surprisingly cartoonish style for a Batman cover. And then we got this Catwoman cover that I liked because they're flipping the page open. In a lot of these early Batman covers, you see them break the fourth wall, acknowledge that it's a comic book. Kind of a Deadpool thing, really. Batman and Robin, at least on their covers in the Batman series, seem to be aware that they were in a comic book. 6.5 off white to white pages. Book value is $3,100, and it sells for $2,677. Then we get a Joker cover. I have just put my flag in the sand and declared my opinion that early Joker covers from the 1940s are the best investment you can make long-term in comics. This cover very much is one of those covers, and it has the Joker in Batman's Arabian Nights. Meet the real thief of Baghdad. 8.0 creamed off-white pages. Fair market's $5,250. Bidding was at $3,922, and it sold for $5,100. Just a bit below book. Then we got this Catwoman cover for $62, $2,775. In 7.0, a $2,700 fair market value. Already above it, and it sold for $2,775. Tiny bit above book value. We got a key here with the first Mr. Freeze. I'm blanking on the name Mr. Freeze. The first Mr. Freeze from 1959, Batman 121 in 7.0. Valued at $6,500. It's going for $5,850. Closes for $5,850. That's 10% below. Not upsettingly low, but low nonetheless for a key. We got another first appearance of a villain from Batman's Rogues Gallery, one of the last villains to be added to that core list, Poison Ivy, in 1966. Just as the Batman TV series was hitting the air, we had Batman 181. This is a 9.4 copy, $15,500. Ooh, we're at $8,861. I don't think we're going to jump up high enough. $9,950 is what it closes for. And then we got this Joker. This is the last Joker before Joker went away and returned under Neil Adams in 1973. This is the last Joker cover for, I think, 7 years of the comic. Right here, he came back in 251. It's a very different version of the Joker. We got the murderous psychopath Joker back in 251. This is the last gasp for the campy, goofy Joker of the 60s. Bidding's at $1,025. Fair market's $2,200. Closes at $1,125. Half of fair market for a Joker cover. A Silver Age Joker cover, of which there are not many. I'm curious. We got 8 sales. Look at that. We got 1 sale for $3,000, and all the rest are so far below it. This sold 3 months ago on Heritage for $1,260, and it just sold for $1,125. The value it's giving here of $2,200, that's based on adjacent grades, probably because this 9.8 sale for $10,000. That's why they put the 9.6 so high, but this was just a crazy person paying 9.8 prices. 9.6 is a huge difference. People with bottomless pockets will spend anything for 9.8. I crunched some numbers and I put the gap between 9.6 and 9.8 at about a 175% jump from 9.6 to 9.8. So roughly triple the price, roughly. But oftentimes it's far more than that, especially when there aren't many of them. First Silver Age Scarecrow, 9.2, off-white to white. Fair market's 2,450, bidding at 1,850, sold at 1,850. Then we got the first Ras Al Ghul. Am I pronouncing that right? I think so. RA'SALGHUL. 9.6 white pages, 232. $4,200. Biddings at 2,811. Doesn't look like we're gonna get close. 3,126 is what it closes at. All right, moving on. Hey, we're up to Black Cat 50. 9.0 River City Pedigree, 1 minute until closing. It's one of the big books in the auction. $43,000 is what the bidding's at. Fair market's $30,000, but it's a pedigree, so we got to give it the pedigree bump. Pedigree bump, I put it at maybe 10, maybe 15%. That gets us to $33,000 or $34,500, but we're already at $43,000. There are some very eager bidders for this book. 15 seconds left to go. We're up to $47,255. 5 seconds. No new bids. And close for $47,255. We had a $55,000 sale in 9.4. A $72,000 sale in 9.6. No sales at 9.8. So this 9.0 River City sale is higher than any 9.2 sale we have listed here. Far higher. There is one higher sale at 9.4, one higher sale at 9.6. But this is almost an all-time record sale price for this book. Yeah, $72,000 4 years ago, height of the pandemic bubble, on Heritage for a non-pedigreed copy. It's from the Black Cat collection, which is a collection but not a pedigree. This book seems to be growing in its reputation. It's 71 years old, but it seems like there is a sudden surge in interest in this book just in the last few years. For understandable reasons. This is an outrageous cover. I mean, think of the nastiest, goriest horror movie you can think of. I mean, now they can actually show this stuff. We can do effects to make this stuff happen on film. They couldn't then. They couldn't do something that nasty in a movie 70 years ago. They had to draw it. In the 70 years of pop culture that have transpired since this cover, there's been very little as horrifyingly disgusting and gory as this cover. By the way, what's going on with his cheek here? I'm curious about this. Is this a bone? He's got this little tube coming down. I'm not an expert on human anatomy, but you got your jawbone and you got your cheekbone. There's nothing there. What is that thing? Look at the Black Terrors. Black Terror with his sidekick. I gotta find out the name of this sidekick. Let's ask Claude. Dear Claude, what is the name of Black Terror's sidekick? Was named Tim Roland, often referred to simply as Tim. Black Terror and his sidekick, Tim, together known as the Terror Twins. After teenager Tim Roland was knocked down by goons harassing pharmacist Bob Benton, Benton hired him as his assistant. Tim accidentally added formic acid to Benton's formula, creating the formic ethers that gave Benton super strength. We got Black Terror here. I think he's sad because he can't find Tim. Is this L.B. Cole? This looks like L.B. Cole. Yep. I called him J.B. Cole in the preview. L.B. Cole. I'm starting to recognize his covers. He is one artist where you don't need to see the name on the label. You just know looking at it. This is another one. Blue Bolt, Weird Tales. Among Golden Age collectors, there are a lot of L.B. Cole fans. Justice League. Brave and the Bold, 28, 9.2. This is another one, top 5 in this auction. What do we have? 185 or so for Batman #1. Have there been any other 6-figure books yet? I don't think so. 85,305 is what the bidding is at. Oh, there we go. With 4 minutes left to go, we are at 106,000. I don't know if I made a prediction on what this would be. I think it's going to end up around 90, 95,000. So this is the book that has the fair market at 200,000, but it's a really unfounded fair market value. What happened is somebody paid 800,000 for the highest graded copy on Heritage last year. And so Go Collect has extrapolated based on that one very high sale price and put the 9.4 at 400,000 and they put the 9.2 at 200,000. So we really haven't seen what the actual buyer interest is in this book for a very long time. We are seeing it right now. There's really never been a sale at 9.2, at least that Go Collect tracks, that puts it anywhere near that. So we're at 106, which is only half of the 200,000, but as I now understand, it's way high. I was thinking it would be 100,000, maybe 90,000, I think. I'll go back and check. And we're past that. 42 seconds left to go. So happy to be caught up again. We're gonna see this move, if it does move, and it looks like it's gonna move. It looks like there are multiple parties interested in this book. 10 seconds left to go, nothing. If anybody's gonna bid on it, they're throwing their bids in now. And let's see which one's the highest. Nothing. Okay, we're done. 106,111. Do believe that's higher than I predicted, and yet a long way from what Go Collect projected. But it's a six-figure book, and I believe it's our second six-figure book of this auction, and I don't think we'll see very many more. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.